What is up, everybody? JT Dangerous here once again. I am back for my Week 3 college football prediction. Now, of course, Week 2 is in the books in the college football this week, and we're on to Week 3 of the college football season. Of course, after now our record coming into this Week 3 predictions after Week 2, we had a fantastic record of 8-2. So our overall record coming into this week is 16-4. So we're coming off another 8-2 week. Of course, we did it in Week 1. We had to do it in Week 2. So we got a 2-week winning streak, and hopefully in this video I will continue the winning ways when it comes to college football predictions. Now, before I start, I cannot say thank you guys so very much for what you guys did last week in my Week 2 college football predictions. You made it the most watched video on my channel since I've been doing this. Of course, we had 1,258 views on that video. Boom, I mean huge. You guys blew it up. So again, thank you guys so very much. We had over 30 comments there, of course. And you guys super kicked the like button 10 times. So again, thank you guys so very much to the commenters like Eric Birch, Mr. Hurricane, putting his picks up in the comments as well to go against me. Fantastic. Keep it up, Mr. Hurricane. Of course, we also saw a freshman from Penn State let me know who the running back for Penn State is. It's Shaquan Jackson. So again, thank you, Mr. Penn State, for doing that. So again, thank you guys so very much for making Week 2 last week a huge week for my college football prediction. Now, of course, this is the second video of 3 videos that will be uploaded today on the channel. Of course, if you have not checked out the first video I put up this morning of my New Japan Pro Wrestling Destruction in Hiroshima 2017 predictions, definitely go check that out. Now, of course, later tonight I'll have my Week 2 college football predictions. So definitely check out all 3 videos this week, of course, and then we go into next week with 5 videos. So hopefully you guys will watch all the videos this week and all 5 videos next week. Now, of course, we're at 170 plus subscribers strong, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel. Of course, if you're new subscribers, thank you guys for super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. It is great to have you. And of course, to my longtime subscribers, thank you guys for sticking around and, as always, killing it. Now, of course, if this is your first time watching my channel as a new viewer, and this is your first video, welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I'm, of course, JT Dangerous, and welcome to the club, because this club is just 2. Whoop, whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these Week 3 predictions. Now, I'm going to start off with the first matchup. It is a battle between the Baylor Bears heading to North Carolina to face the Duke Blue Devils. Now, of course, Baylor's coming into this game 0-2 after 2 bad losses. Of course, being in the Big 12 Conference with teams like with TCU, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Baylor. Iowa State and Texas, they're coming in very, very not in a good position at all, for sure. And Baylor's just still reeling from the whole Art Briles thing, their former coach, and how all that situation happened. So again, Baylor is not looking good in the Big 12 Conference for sure. And then on the other hand, you have the Duke Blue Devils, who are coming in 2-0, of course, being in the ACC Coastal with, of course, their rivals, North Carolina, of course, the U, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. Definitely Duke is looking good this early of the season. Of course, with David Cutcliffe and the Fighting Cutcliffes of Duke, they look good. Of course, this is my team in college basketball, being the Duke Blue Devils. So it's good to see the Duke football team do good as well as the Duke basketball team. And of course, with North Carolina losing, being 0-2 in the ACC right now, Duke is definitely in the driver's seat. So coming from me in this first matchup, I'm going to take the Duke Blue Devils to win. I just think Duke is riding high right now, and Baylor is just falling flat. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Duke Blue Devils to defeat the Baylor Bears. And now the next matchup, an SEC East battle featuring, of course, 2 rivals. The number 23 ranked Tennessee Volunteers heading to the Swamp to face the number 24 ranked Florida Gators. Now, of course, I don't know if this game is going to happen because, of course, with the the hurricane in Florida, of course, best wishes to anybody who lives in that Florida area as my subscribers. Just be safe. Again, this game may happen, may not happen, but it is a rivalry game. Of course, this is the 47th meeting between the Gators and the Volunteers. Of course, Florida leads this all-time series 26-20, and of course, Florida has last one here was 2015. So they're trying to get back on the winning track in this rivalry. Now, of course, the Tennessee Volunteers are coming in 2-0. Of course, they had a big-time win against Georgia Tech in Week 1 on Monday night. So, and definitely, they're playing for their coach's job. Of course, Butch Jones at Tennessee is definitely on the hot seat this year. Of course, they have to have a big-time win, and beating Florida would be a big-time win. But again, in being in the SEC East, there's some good contenders there like Georgia and Kentucky and Vanderbilt and South Carolina and Missouri. So Tennessee has to run the table and win the SEC East for sure. Or Butch Jones is going to be hearing this, or you're going to be hearing this when it comes on SportsCenter.
I just thought I'd give you some news. You're fired.
Yeah, definitely they're playing for their coach's career in Tennessee. And then on the other side, you have the Florida Gators, who, of course, did not play in Week 2. Of course, their game got canceled because of Irma. So this is only their second game of the season. Of course, the last time we saw Florida in our predictions was against Michigan in Week 1. So this is a very interesting Florida team this year. Of course, the one player I'm very interested to see is Malik Zaire, their quarterback. Very talented. I've heard some really, really good things about him. So coming from me in this SEC East rivalry battle, oh man, this one's tough because they're both ranked. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers. I just think Tennessee is looking to win the SEC this year again. With Florida losing to Michigan, that really helped Tennessee for sure to maybe win the SEC East coming from me. So coming from me in this SEC East battle, I am taking the number 23 ranked Tennessee Volunteers to defeat the number 24 ranked Florida Gators. And now the next matchup, featuring of course the number 10 ranked Wisconsin Badgers heading to Utah to face, of course, the Cougars of BYU. Now, of course, the Wisconsin Badgers are 2-0 coming into this season, of course, being in the Big Ten West Division with teams like Nebraska, Minnesota, Illinois, Purdue, and Northwestern. Definitely the Badgers are, coming from me, the front runners to win the Big Ten West Division. Coming from me, they're a really good team. They've always been a great team. They had great players like Monty Ball. They've always had a very great team in Madison for sure. And then on the other hand, you have the BYU Cougars are coming off a loss to Utah in their rivalry game in Week 2. So they're coming in definitely not feeling great. I mean, they did not look good against Utah at all. So this is not going to be really a matchup because Wisconsin's a much better team. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking the number 10 ranked Wisconsin Badgers to defeat the BYU Cougars. And now the next matchup, the second rivalry game of Week 3. It is the battle of the Iron Skillet battle, featuring, of course, the SMU Mustangs facing the number 20th ranked TCU Horned Frogs. Now, of course, this is the 97th meeting between these two rivals. Of course, TCU leads the all-time series 49-40-7, and of course, TCU has won the last 5 games in this rivalry, and SMU is looking to win this win in this rivalry for the first time since 2011. So this one's a big game for both teams. Of course, both teams are 2-0 coming into this Week 3. Of course, SMU being in the American Athletic West Conference with teams like Navy, Memphis, Houston, Tulsa, and Tulane. So SMU is a very good football team. I mean, they were amazing in the 80s before the whole death penalty thing, if you've seen the Pony Express for 30 for 30. But SMU has always been a good team, a great team for sure. And then on the other side, you have the TCU Horned Frogs, who are coming off a big win against Arkansas. Again, I did pick against TCU. That's on me. I'll take that L. But TCU looked good. Definitely looked good, of course, being in the same division with Texas, Texas Tech, West Virginia, OU, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Iowa State. They're definitely right up there to challenge whoever they have to face in the Big 12 championship. So coming from me in this Iron Skillet battle, I'm going to take the number 20th ranked TCU Horned Frogs. I think they have won the last 5. I don't see them losing another. I don't see them losing here. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the number 20th ranked TCU Horned Frogs to defeat the SMU Mustangs. And now the next matchup, featuring, of course, the Oregon Ducks heading to Wyoming to face the Wyoming Cowboys. Now, of course, the Oregon Ducks are coming off a big win against Nebraska. Thank you for that win, Oregon Ducks, last week, of course. They looked good. I mean, they had their alternate uniforms as always, but they definitely are back on track in the Pac-12 North with their rivals, the Beavers at Oregon State, Stanford, Wazoo, and Washington State. So Oregon is they're looking really good right now in the Pac-12 North. And then on the other side, you have the Wyoming Cowboys who are coming off a win in Week 2, of course. Again, I do not know a lot about Wyoming, of course. I know they're in the Mountain West Conference in the Mountain Division where, of course, my favorite team, the Boise State Broncos, are. Of course, you got teams in that division like Colorado State, Air Force, New Mexico, and Utah State. But there's one thing I heard a lot about in Week 1 with Wyoming is they have the most watched guy, the most watched quarterback I have seen, and Josh Allen. Everybody was talking about him in Week 1. Everybody's saying he's going to be the number 1 draft pick in the 2018 draft for the NFL. Everybody's talking about this kid. Of course, he did not have a big time game he did not have a big game in his first game, but he bounced back in his second in the game last week. So again, he's the guy to watch out for if you're trying to tank a season, like teams like the Jets or the 49ers or any teams like that are looking to get the number 1 draft pick. So Josh Allen is somebody to watch for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, man, this one's tough. I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks once again. I think Oregon has been proven winners for sure, of course. They gave me a win last week. They're looking to give me, and hopefully they will give me a win this week. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Oregon Ducks to defeat the Wyoming Cowboys. And now the next matchup, another SEC East battle featuring, of course, the Kentucky Wildcats heading to Gamecock country to face the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now, of course, both teams are coming in 2-0. This is definitely a big-time matchup in the SEC West this week for sure, with Tennessee and Florida, and now South Carolina and Kentucky. Of course, I don't know a lot about. These are 2 good college basketball teams, that's for sure. I know that for sure with Kentucky, with John Cal. So, again, Kentucky looks like another good team that can be a threat. Like, there's a lot of good teams in the SEC East this year, for sure, with teams, once again, like Georgia, Missouri, South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida. It's anybody's division for sure in the SEC. And then you have, of course, South Carolina, who's coming off. Of course, I picked them against NC State in, I think, Week 1. So, again, thank you for that win, South Carolina. And, again, I think they're going to continue their wave of emotion for sure. So, coming from me in this second SEC East battle in Week 3, man, this one's tough because they're both good. I'm going to take the Kentucky Wildcats to win. I think this is going to be definitely a 50-50 pick. I think, again, South Carolina did give me a win in Week 1, but I think I like to pick somebody different. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Kentucky Wildcats to defeat the South Carolina Gamecocks. And now the next matchup, featuring, of course, the number 18th ranked Kansas State Wildcats heading to Vanderbilt to face the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now, of course, both teams are also coming in 2-0. Of course, Kansas State being first place in the Big 12 Conference with teams like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. They are definitely looking really, really good right now in the Big 12 Conference for sure. And then on the other side, you have the Vanderbilt Commodores, who are, of course, in the SEC East with those monsters, like I said. Definitely they're getting better. I know their basketball team was really good in the 90s. So coming from me in this matchup, this one's a pretty quick pick. Oh man, this one's tough. Again, Kansas State with Bill, that coach of theirs is just amazing there. Bill Snyder, fantastic. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the number 18th ranked Kansas State Wildcats to defeat the Vanderbilt Commodores. And now the next matchup. This one, of course, will be where College Game Day will be this week. Of course, it is the number 3 ranked Clemson Tigers heading to Louisville to face the number 14th ranked Louisville Cardinals. Now, of course, this is going to be a fantastic one. Of course, it's an ACC Atlantic battle. Of course, both teams coming into this game 2-0. Of course, Clemson beating Auburn and Louisville coming back and beating North Carolina. Now, you got two fantastic teams. Of course, Clemson's looking to show that last year was not a fluke. Of course, with Dabo Swinney, they're looking good, and their defense was just killer against Auburn last week. 7 sacks. That defense woke the fuck up for sure. And then on the other side, you have the Louisville Cardinals, who, of course, with their Heisman Trophy winner of last year, Lamar Jackson, looks like he's definitely going to be in the Heisman race again this year. Had a monster game against North Carolina coming back. So this is a huge, huge matchup, and I cannot wait to see who Corso is going to pick here on college. Who is he going to pick on Saturday between these two? So coming from me in this matchup, I'd say this is a big match to see who will win the ACC Atlantic. This is the big game for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, man, this one's tough, and I like Clemson, and I also like Louisville with Lamar Jackson. Coming from me, I'm going to take the number 3 ranked Clemson Tigers to win. I just think Clemson's defense is going to get it done. They did it against Auburn at home. This one's going to be a shootout for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the number 3 ranked Clemson Tigers to defeat the number 14th ranked Louisville Cardinals. And now the next matchup, a matchup between two teams I remember watching in the 2006 Rose Bowl, is of course the Texas Longhorns heading to California to face the number 4 ranked USC Trojans. Now, of course, if any college football fan remembers the 2006 Rose Bowl, it's maybe the greatest game of all time. Of course, that Pete Carroll team against that Mack Brown team, Vince Young with the touchdown that won Texas the national championship from USC. This is one of my favorite Rose Bowl games. And I've watched a lot of college football. This is one of my all-time favorite Rose Bowl game in 2006 with the talent around them, with Vince Young, and you have Reggie Bush, and you have that talented USC team in the past, and now they're playing each other again in this matchup. This is going to be big, and this is a revenge game for USC for sure. Of course, Texas is coming off a big win against San Jose State, and of course, USC getting a huge win against Stanford at the Coliseum. Of course, Texas is getting back on track, of course, with Todd Herman as their coach. Again, it's a work in progress for sure, in Austin for the Longhorns. Then on the other side, you have the USC Trojans, who looked good. Sam Darnold is back in the Heisman race again. That Week 1 game was just a little bump on the road, but he is back in his form. He had a fantastic game against Stanford, and their running back. Look out for Ronald Jones at USC at the running back position. He is definitely going to be up there with Saquon Barkley as the best running backs in college football. So coming from me in this 2006 Rose Bowl rematch, oh man, this one's so tough. Oh, man, I'm going to take the number 4 ranked USC Trojans. I think they're going to want some payback after that 2006 Rose Bowl. I mean, that haunted them for years, and they never recovered after that game. They were a different team after that whole Rose Bowl happened. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking the number 4 ranked USC Trojans to defeat the Texas Longhorns. And now the final matchup of these Week 3 predictions. Of course, it is the Running Rebels of Ole Miss heading to California to face, of course, the Cal Bears. Now, of course, both these teams are as well coming in 2-0. Of course, Ole Miss winning on Saturday, and of course, Cal winning on Saturday. Now, of course, with Ole Miss being in the vaunted, dominant SEC West Division with Bama and Auburn and LSU, Ole Miss is a very different team. Of course, Hugh Freeze left, and of course, they went with a new coach. He's getting them back on track for sure. So Ole Miss is definitely look out for in the SEC West, because they have upsetted teams before in this division. Case in point, Bama. They have upset LSU before. So look out for Ole Miss in the SEC West. Then on the other side, you have the Cal Bears, who are coming on, are 2-0, surprisingly 2-0. Of course, being in the Pac-12 North, they look good. I mean, surprisingly, I picked against them in Week 1. They made me pay for it, but they have looked pretty good, and surprisingly, they're right into it in the Pac-12 North, with Oregon being 2-0, Stanford being 1-1, Washington being 2-0, and Washington State being pretty solid this year. So Cal has a pretty solid chance. So coming from me in this final matchup of week 3, oh man, this one's tough. You know what? I picked against Cal in week 1. You know what? I'm going to pick Cal to win this game. I think they can get it done at home, and hopefully they will definitely forgive me for picking against them in week 1 and give me a big-time win. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking the Cal Bears to beat the Ole Miss Running Rebels. And those are my week 3 college football predictions. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy my predictions this week. Comment below, who do you have winning all of these matchups? Of course, who do you have winning in the top 25 matchups? Of course, my man Eric Birch will have his comments, his predictions in the comment section below. I would love to see what he's got against me. Of course, if you're college football fans, represent your team in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about them. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, and of course, reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, of course, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching, and of course, before you go, you can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. And of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous Lions. And I will see you later tonight for my week 2 NFL predictions. Later days and peace.